Hello everybody, and I'm Katie Neal from Bournemouth Physio, and welcome to my clinic on this Thursday morning or kind of lunchtime. So what are you doing here today joining us? At Bournemouth Physio, what I really care about at this time of lockdown is trying to help you stay fit, well and healthy, giving you tools and techniques from qualified individuals that are going to help you feel better at a difficult time. As of today, we are looking at probably going into extended lockdown. That can already, the thought of that, even before they said that, may make you feel a bit anxious, a bit stressed. And we can have that from an emotional point of view. We can also have that from a physical point of view. And one of the areas that it can affect is our head and our neck. And you may be aware of general tension. Maybe you've had some tension headaches. Possibly your face and your head has felt a little bit fuzzy. And you're thinking, well, what on earth can I do at home? So together with an amazing other practitioner called Ronit Gerber, we've put together 2 simple home treatments that you can do. It's really important for us that we help you at this time. So Ronit Gerber in a moment is going to be talking you through some amazing techniques that are so simple to do, including Indian and Japanese head massage that you can do on yourself. As a physio, one of the things I love to use, either when I'm teaching my Pilates classes or with clients in clinic, are these amazing kind of spiky massage balls. Hopefully you can see them quite well, and I'll put the link on afterwards. And what's incredible about these is that they're a really effective, simple way that you can help release tension in a little bit of a different way to what Ronit's going to show you. So if you sit back, relax and enjoy yourself, Ronit is going to be showing you the Indian and face massage, and then I'll come back. Ronit is the owner of the Natural Gateway Clinic, and that's where my Bournemouth Physio clinic is based. She is an amazing holistic practitioner herself, and she is creative director and manager of the Smile System. And she may mention that in her talk just a little bit, and we're going to be doing some more sessions together. On the link, if you're watching on Facebook Live, there's going to be a list of future sessions. We'll also talk about them a little bit at the end. So I'm going to hand over to Ronit. As I said, get yourself comfortable. This is going to be really beautiful. It's all going to be recorded and uploaded. So if it feels a bit overwhelming or you're missing out some things, just know that you can come back and look at this at another time. Over to you, Ronit.
Hi, Katie. Hi, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here with you all today. Katie, thank you so much for this opportunity. I just want to say something before we start. I really love to have feedback from everybody, and because of the format that we're recording this on and we're bringing it to you live, I can't see any of the comments. So I'm going to ask and rely on Katie to feed back to me as you're asking questions, but I would love to hear from you and to have that interaction because it does enhance everything that we're doing. That said, if you're so involved and you're following along with me and you're doing everything along with these recordings and this video, then obviously there will be a chance to ask questions at the end and down the line as well. I'll be available for that. I'm hoping that what you can see on your screen are 2 angles of me, basically. So there's my front view, and also I've got a camera kind of on my back, so that when I'm demonstrating everything that I do on the neck, the shoulders, the neck, and the back of your head, you can actually see exactly what it is that I'm talking about as I'm taking you through the different sequences. So that's what I'm hoping that you can see, but obviously you'll be able to follow whichever view you're looking at or whichever view you can see me through. Before we dive in and actually start the different techniques, I do want to say that this is not a replacement for any medical advice or any professional doctors that you may need to see. If you are suffering from something like osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, those sorts of things, please tread very, very lightly. Normally, I wouldn't work on somebody with those conditions, but obviously if you're stiff and tight at home, it's much safer for you to be doing this on yourself. But equally, please don't see this as any substitute for those professionals. And obviously, Katie is a professional and she can advise you on, obviously that side of things. This is more our hope to share something with you that can ease your tension, your tightness, clear your sinuses, help you with headaches, stiff shoulders, and so on, whilst we're in lockdown and you're unable to go out and have a massage yourself, or go and actually get the physical help that you might be craving or needing. So I'm hoping that that will serve you very, very well. I think it's time to dive in right now. So I'm hoping that you're following. Katie, please can I ask, if anybody is asking questions through the Facebook feed, if you can kind of pop in and share those with us, because I know that we can hear your voice from time to time when you're ready for that, if there's anything to answer. So I'm going to just dive in right now and talk my way through, and I'll see you on the other side of this video. Right, here we go. So the first thing is that obviously we're going to start on the shoulders, because that is where a lot of our tension lies. And in order to help drain any buildup of fluid in the face, in the head, and behind the kind of the base of the head here, that creates that tightness and that tension and headaches in the head, we do need to relax everything that is connected to our head, and we start with the shoulders. We've actually got drainage points, lymphatic drainage points here, just under your ears, the auricular points, and then you've also got these down here as well. So what we're doing is we're kind of almost loosening up and relaxing where everything needs to flow in order to drain those fluids, and to also improve and encourage circulation in our head, neck, shoulders, face, etc. So the first step is to relax our shoulders. Now, can I just jump in here and say, I have tried Katie's spiky balls. We did a session where I got to experience them for myself, and they are fabulous. So if you have got spiky balls, or even if you don't, wait to watch Katie's session after mine, because those balls will do everything that I'm talking you through now 100 times better, and will really help to get that circulation going and ease your back tension. So first step is to just roll the shoulders back with me like so. So taking a deep breath and exhale, just to fill your abdomen up with air, just to relax your body. So taking another deep breath, breathe in and release. One more time and release. Now we're going to roll our shoulders. So bring your shoulders up to your ears, roll them backwards and drop. And again, roll them back and down, up to the ears, backwards and release. And we're going to do one shoulder there. And I'm just rolling it forwards, up, backwards and down, forwards, up, backwards and down. And now the left side, forwards, up to the ear, round and down, forwards, up, round and down. And we'll do both again, like so. Now I'm starting to feel a slightly looser, I don't know about you, in my shoulders, but my neck is now feeling quite stiff. So before we start massaging and releasing the muscles in that way on our neck, what we're going to do is we're actually going to jot your neck forward. So keep your back straight, and I'll just hold up my hair there. Literally jut your chin forward while keeping your back straight, and then bring it back up. Jut forward and bring it back up, forward and bring it back up. And what that does is it actually releases a lot of the tight muscles in the vertebra of the neck over there, the cervical vertebra, and also the jaw as well. Now there's a technique. If you clap your hands together like so and turn your palms facing outwards, push out in front of you, up above your head, wiggle those arms ever so slightly, and then release and bring your arms back down again. This is a really beautiful way to release the upper back and the shoulders. And again, we're going to bring the hands together, palms out like so. Now we're going to do it with our breath. So breathe in, as you go out. Hold the breath as you go up, and then release as you release your arms. One more time. And hold and release with the breath. And there we go. So by now the shoulders are nice and loose. The last thing to do to help release the tightness in the shoulders before we begin the massage is to actually do some head rotation. So we're going to do side, front, side. So center, turn your head to the right and just look over your right shoulder, back to the center, and then look over the left shoulder. Back to the center and look over the right shoulder, back to the center and left shoulder. There we go. And don't overstrain as you're turning your neck, but just tilt it ever so slightly more than its natural point, just so that you're giving your neck muscles and your shoulder muscles a chance to do a little bit of stretching there. Right, now we're going to begin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hands. So if you imagine that we're using the palm of our hands and our fingers here to do all the movements that we're doing. There are three main tools for this, really. That's the palm of your hand, your fingertips, and this point here. So, and we're going to use a combination of those things as we move through the different sequences. So the first one is to actually work on our back muscles. And what I'm doing is I'm holding my shoulders with my hand like so. I'm kind of cupping my shoulders and I'm using my fingers at the back of, on my back here, to actually push down along the shoulders. So it's one squeeze there, move along, one squeeze in the middle and one squeeze on the end. One squeeze here at the base of the neck, one squeeze across, and there. We do a lot of what we do in threes. 1, 2, 3. If we roll those shoulders out again, there we go. And 1, 2, 3. Now I find it quite helpful to stay on the spot and push in to the muscles that are there as well. Okay, now we're going to move on to our neck. I don't know how your back is feeling right there, but after all those movements and circulations, I'm feeling quite warm right there just at the top of my shoulders. My arms are quite stiff as well, I'm not going to lie, but I think that's par for the course. And the more times you do this, the easier it will get on your arms as well. I've actually just taken up some yoga practice for beginners, and so my arms are stiff because I've been doing all sorts of lovely maneuvers there. But equally, this can make your shoulders feel quite tight, but don't let that stop you. And if you need to stop and take a breath, rest your arms down and do that for yourself as well. So now we're going to work on the back of our neck. We never ever work on the bones themselves. But what we're doing is we're working on the muscles, because that's really where the stiffness comes in and the loss of movement. We're working on the muscles on either side of the spine. So if you mark your skull bone there, you've got the occiput bone just across there. That is the point that we're going up to meet. So we're going to start at the very base of the neck there on those two nice, meaty, tight, tense muscles there. And what we're going to do is we're going to, in circular motions, we're going to circle our fingers, and it's using the 3 middle fingers, your index finger, middle finger, and your ring finger, so that you have an even pressure there. Our thumbs tend to push a lot harder, so we're wanting an even pressure on either side of your neck. And what you're doing is you're moving upwards in circular motions, and what you're doing is circle, drag up ever so slightly, circle, drag up ever so slightly, and so on until you get to the base, to your occiput along there. So circle, drag up, circle, drag up, and we do 3 circles, 2 and 3, and then drag up again, and 1, 2 and 3. And for me at this moment in time, because of the way I sit and watch telly and sit on the computer, when I'm doing my circles right here at the base of my head, I'm really feeling the tension and the tightness there. So I'm going to spend ever so slightly longer on that point, not pushing too hard. You don't want to bruise or injure yourself, but just going just deeper than the muscle, just so that you can really release it, and then go back down. And again, circle. I'm quite tight down here as well. My posture's not that good when I'm sitting at the computer. Sorry, Katie. I know she does a whole big session on that, so I should really watch it again and refresh. Up, circles again, drag up, and there we go, right into the base over there. Wonderful. Another technique is to actually pull the muscles away from the mid, away from the bone, and actually move them and open up that area. So what I'm doing again is I'm using those 3 fingers and I'm pushing down, and then I'm with the same even pressure, I'm just moving the muscles away that way. Okay, now if I was doing this on you, and I don't know how feasible it is to do it on yourself, really, it's quite difficult, but I would almost pinch the muscle and turn it. I would twist it over itself if you really need to get in there, but that's not an easy thing and it's not a very pleasant thing to do, but I'll show you again. So what I'm doing there is I'm holding it, hooking it, thumb and my fingers over here at the front, my thumb over there at the back, and I'm kind of just turning the muscle there. Please remember whilst you're doing this to keep your chin level with the floor and not to strain forwards or backwards. What you're really wanting to do is, you can't see it properly in the video here, but to try and have as straight a line as you possibly can and to keep that chin even so that you're not overstretching and overstraining those muscles. It becomes very uncomfortable and you can cause an injury that way. So again, the best movement, instead of the rolling that I was doing, which is quite tricky to get to, is to just open up from the midline and just pull it around that way. And it really, I can feel those muscles opening and releasing there. You can keep doing that all the way down to the base as well. It's just a really soothing, warming, releasing activity. And I'm just rolling again, just to loosen up, because as you're working in this position, if you're not used to it, your muscles do get tight. So every so often, just stop and give yourself a chance to release, because what you don't want to do is cause too much tightness and soreness. Right, so we've done the neck. What's also really lovely is to continue that circular dragging motion. The 3 circles move along, 3 circles move along, 3 circles and move along the base of your occiput bone, at the base of the head, the cranium, the skull itself, because that is where we carry a lot of our tension. So to mark it, I'm kind of going into my hairline and just above, and you can feel the base of your skull and the tightness of the muscles. And again, I'm doing 3, moving across, 3, moving across, and go all the way into the bone at the back of the ear there. Right, 3 and across. Lovely. Okay, it's harder to see me moving across in the 3s because there's a shorter distance there, but it really does help. If I was working on you, I would actually be using my middle finger there to really get in. You get a much deeper pressure if you work with one finger. But why I've recommended using the 3 is because it gives you a much more even spread of pressure. If you're right-handed, you're going to be stronger on your right hand, left-handed on your left side, obviously. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that both sides that you're working on get the same degree of pressure to make it more pleasant and more balanced, which is why we're going with the 3 fingers instead of just the 1. Okay, there we go. So that's the back done. We've got our different techniques to loosen the back muscles. Sometimes just bringing your shoulders forward and rolling them backwards as well really helps if your lower back or your mid back starts to get tired. We've worked on the neck now. The next stage, which is so lovely, is to work on the head. And following the head, we're then going to move on to your face, where we're going to look at unblocking those sinuses as well. So I'm going to loosen my hair so that I can show you all the techniques fully and completely. Right, first stage on the head is just to rest with your hands on your head. Apply a little bit of pressure from both sides, almost like you're squeezing your head, not too tightly, but just enough to feel comforted and supported. Okay, so just a little bit of pressure. It should feel really soothing and grounding. There we go. I've just taken a few deep breaths just to relax into what we're doing. What I'm feeling, and I don't know if you're feeling the same right now, as I'm doing this breathing and holding onto my head, is an awareness of the warmth that I have created and the looseness that exists in the other areas that I've worked on. And also a grounding effect. So as I'm holding my head and I'm breathing, it actually, for a moment, stops my thoughts from running and helps me to feel more connected to my body. So whatever it is that it does for you, just remember to take a moment just to hold and to breathe in, hold, and release. Breathe in, hold, and release. Again, breathe in. And all the while I'm holding my hands with some pressure on my head, but not too tightly, and release. Beautiful. Now there are a range of different techniques that we use on the head. The holding of the head, I'm making sure that my pressure is flowing and is the same from the palm all the way through my hands as I'm holding on there, so that there's this lovely, even, supportive pressure on the head there. Now you can also do this moving your hands slightly forward on the head so that you're almost touching, or your tips of your pinkies are on your forehead, going into the middle of the head, and then remembering the back of the head as well. All too often what we don't realize is that our head is obviously like a ball, and we either focus, even when washing our hair on one area, but we need to try, when we're doing this technique, to remember the front of the head, the top of the head, the back. You've got the base of the head and behind the ears as well. You've still got parts of your head obviously behind your ears, and they get very, very neglected over time. So back to the head. If you need to shake your arms out right now, that's also okay. Give your hands a shake, give your arms a bit of a shake and a wobble. There we go. And hold on to the head. The first technique I'm going to show you is tapping. So you literally are running your little fingers, all of them like so, and you're just tapping on the top of your head. This is waking up the circulation, the cranium, everything there is just getting a little bit of a stimulation there. We're just stimulating all around the head, all over the show, like so. Lovely. The next thing we're going to do is a combination of tugging and tweaking. So tugging is where you grab a little handful in between your finger and your thumb, like so, of hair. Let me try and lean a bit more forward so you can hopefully see. So we've got a little tuft of hair, and we literally shake. That's the tugging, so that you can actually see my head, my scalp is moving there, and you go backwards and you do little clumps along the head, moving all the way round to the back as well. There we go. And then move along sideways. So the idea is to make sure that you get a lot of coverage all the way around your head, all the way down to the base. So wherever you've really got hair. Now, if you don't have hair, if you're watching this and you're bald, that is also okay, because I'm going to show you in a minute what we are going to do, and you can do along with us as well. You can also do this by just on the skin, clumping, not pinching, but just getting a little bit of the skin between your fingers and actually just moving them. That would work beautifully if you have no hair to actually grip onto. So if you're having alopecia or bald, this is what you would do. So you're effectively doing the same thing, but you're actually just grabbing a tiny little, without hurting yourself, little bit of skin, and you're just giving it that kind of tugging feeling. Because also what that does is it just almost not separates the scalp from the well, I'm losing my words here, the scalp from the head, but you're actually just giving a chance for that to aerate and for circulation to happen under there, because a lot of the time we have such tightness and stiffness that this is really, really quite releasing. You're just carrying on with the tugging sensations all the way around the back and up the middle again. It's almost like I'm wearing a wig, look, but I'm not. There we go, shaking. Okay, so that's our tugging done. Now, another way of doing it, which is slightly less, not aggressive is the wrong word, you shouldn't be aggressive with yourself, but that's slightly less of a movement, is to use, again, your 3 fingers. And what you're going to do is plant them neatly onto the head, and you're going to wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And again, we're going to move down the middle, over all the one side, and then down the middle again, over to the other side, and then we'll come back. So if we plant those 3 fingers, wiggle and shake, wiggle and shake, and we're going all the way around. There we go. And the idea is to just make sure that you're shaking and releasing all that tension. And again there, and we'll do this side as well. Shake and wiggle, shake and wiggle. So plant, wiggle, Plant your fingers firmly and wiggle. Now, it looks like I'm actually using my thumb, but what my thumb is doing, and if you need to use your thumb, that's okay as well, is it's stabilizing my fingers so that I'm not rubbing. The idea is not to move like so, but to really get the scalp moving. That's what you're trying to do there. So my thumb is stabilizing my fingers so that everything is moved in a nice, controlled, and deliberate way. And you can do it both hands as well, which is quite a nice way to get the coverage. In fact, now that I'm doing it, I would actually recommend doing it both hands if you can. Is so much more even and relaxing that way. There we go. And give yourself, just make sure you do it all over behind the ears as well. Really, really important. Okay, now one of the all-time favorite techniques that everybody loves when I'm doing an Indian head massage, and even towards the end of a Japanese facial or tsuboki massage, is it's called shampooing. So it's effectively the same as if you were taking your shampoo and you were shampooing it into your hair. The difference being that you're not obviously going to use shampoo, but that the aim again is not to shake the hair on its own, but also to move the scalp. You shouldn't be hearing friction as you're doing this. The idea is to open up your fingers and plant them onto your scalp and use them and move your fingers in a circular motion as if you're shampooing your hair. But the idea is again to encourage circulation and drainage, if you will, in a slightly different way to what we've done before. I wish I could speak to people and find out how your head is feeling right now. Mine is really warm, quite relaxed. What I really want to be doing is closing my eyes and not talking right now, but I would love you to follow as we go along. So we're going to do this shampooing technique right now. Again, open your fingers as wide as they will go, and we're going to start on the front. We're going to move backwards again, down the sides, and sometimes it's nice to also move your hands around so that you're getting a lot of coverage and you're giving every side of your head a different experience of the same technique. So have a go at that now. And again, as you can see, I can hear a little bit of movement, but the idea really is to just get the scalp moving. And then I'm going to move back a bit more. And if you're doing this right now, you might want to try out closing your eyes and just keep going round in those circles all the way to the back. I've moved over slightly and I've brought my fingers in a little bit just to be able to get behind the ears here. And then up again. Don't be afraid to really get in and under your hair there when you're doing this, just to get the full benefit. Go inside your hair to your scalp. Don't be afraid to kind of really get in there and spread your hands out so that you're getting a lovely, even spread of massage there. Okay. Now, another technique which people love, I'm not sure how you're going to enjoy this one because it's a bit of a Marmite type of part of the treatment. Some people absolutely love it and want me to do it for extra time, and others let me do it for the bare minimum because there is a lot of value, and it's actually plucking. What we're going to do is we're going to pluck the hair like so, and what you're doing is actually do it to the ends of your hair. So you're going from the root and you're plucking all the way through like this to the ends of your hair, because we don't realize, although our hair is almost is dead in a sense, what we don't realize is that it's still attached and connected. So we don't give the whole hair the attention that it warrants. So the plucking is with your fingers like so, plucking the hair out. It's really a good way to reset your hair after all of that shampooing, because if we do it right and you fluff your hair out, it should look lovely and neat by the time you're finished. There we go. Now, two more things to do on the head is some pressure lift. So what we're going to do now, like when we started on the head, we're going to hold our head. This time what you're doing really is you're cupping the head with your hands, but you're going to use the palm of your hands to lift. As you're squeezing and you're applying pressure, lift your palms upwards so that you're lifting, holding, squeezing, lifting, holding, squeezing, and lifting. And we do 3, up, 3 times, and then we're going to go front and back, and we're going to do that again 3 times. Hold, push in, and lift and release. Hold, push in, lift and release. So let's try that. So we'll do it on the side first. There we go. Hold, push in, lift and release. Move up ever so slightly. Hold, push in, lift and release. Hold, push in, lift and release. So again, hold, push in, lift and release, in, lift and release, in and lift and release. We'll do the front as well. Push in, lift and release. And then the last thing I said, there were 2 more of those. It's also a type of pressure where you hold it and you just push inwards and count to 1, 2, 3, and then just ever so slowly and gently release it, and just change the position of your hands to front and back. Push in and count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and release, and then you go from the side. So what we're doing is we've done the front, we've done the sides, we've done the front, and now we're going at a slight angle. You're kind of 3 o'clock, it would be, you know, 3 and 7-ish, and you push in, 1, 2, 3, and release, and then you move the other way around, 1, 2, 3, and release, and that just calms and grounds you down again. Just take a breath, give a moment to get your arms just to relax and release, because, you know, mine are feeling quite tight right now. Taking a few breaths and just, again, just center where you're at. We've now worked on our shoulders, we've worked on the back of our necks, and we've now done a really thorough working over our heads. The last phase or stage is to really work on our faces. Now, this is brilliant if you suffer from sinusitis, if you've got slightly tired, heavy eyes, or if you have hay fever, that sort of thing. This is a really brilliant sequence to help you to unblock your sinuses. It's connected to Ayurveda, so we work on what's called the Mama points. And I'm just going to try and lean forward so I can show you my face properly. There we go. So what we're going to use for this sequence is actually your middle finger. Reason being, again, that you want an even pressure. And what we do is we're going to move the finger a finger width apart. So we're going to hold on to there, and just above your eyebrow, push in, and you're going to hold it. So what we're doing is just above, finger width above the eyebrow. On either side, there's a little groove in there, and we just push and hold it for 3, and then we move up a finger width, 1, 2, 3, and then up again, 1, 2, 3. So let's do that again, just above the eyebrow, 1, 2, 3. And we're doing even pressure on both sides with right and left, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to move back just above the middle of the eyebrow there, just above, and we're holding 1, 2, 3. Move up again, 1, 2, and 3, and then up again to the count of 3 and 3. And then we're going to go to the edge of the eyebrow, just above the edge of the eyebrow. There's the bone there, and we're going on that bone. 1, 2, 3, 3. And we repeat every sequence 3 times. So, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the count of 3. And then lastly down here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Right, so that is your forehead done. Now we're going to release the pressure points around the eyes, and what we're going to do is we're going to start, this time it's on the eyebrow as opposed to just above the eyebrow, and we're going to go in the middle here, kind of the edges of the eyebrow, then into the middle, then onto the outside, then we're going to go into the middle on the bone here, and then just into the bridge of the nose, the corners of the eye. Again, applying a pressure, but don't hurt yourself. In some points, if there's a blockage there or it's particularly bunged up, you might feel a tension or a tightness there. It may be more tender, and that's a point to pay attention to as well. If any of the points on your face, any of these mama points, feel more tender than others, that shows you exactly where you should be, maybe staying for a few extra seconds just to release the tension and just to pay attention, and hopefully that will ease in time. So we're going to go, we've done the forehead sequence, we're going to go again with the middle finger onto the tiny tip of your eyebrow, 1, 2, 3, into the middle. You should feel a little groove there, actually, a little dip, 2, 3, right at the edge on the bone. You're doing it all around this eye socket there, 1, 2, 3, onto the top of the cheekbone there, the eye bone, but it's the bottom of the eye socket, 1, 2, 3, and into the bridge of the nose by the eyes, 1, 2, 3, and again 3 times. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, and into there, and 1, 2, 3. Last round on the eyes, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the middle, 1, 2, 3. Now, really interestingly, I've now just felt a little bit of clearing and drainage happening for me over there. And what I felt today that I haven't felt when I've done this before on myself is squelching under my fingers. Now, my eyes are particularly tired today. I'm sure you can see that I've got this kind of a bit more bags and puffiness under there. So it's really interesting for me to experience that squelching. And I'd love to know how it's feeling and what you can feel under your fingers as you're working. This has a really great effect as well because it's stimulating circulation and drainage in your face, and is part of also the kind of natural facelift techniques. If you were going for a facial, they would use some of these techniques. They tend to go around in a circle as well. Right, now we've done the forehead, we've done around the eyes. Now we're going to do along the cheekbone here, the jaw, this cheekbone there. And we're going to start off by hooking again, middle finger, same technique of 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do it right on the bottom, the base of the nostrils there. So, and you're hooking under the bone, 1, 2, 3, over to the middle of the cheek, 1, 2, 3, and over to the edge, 1, 2, 3. Now, when you're doing this, please make sure not to anywhere on your face to drag the skin. You don't want to be dragging the skin as you're moving. You're literally pushing in, 1, 2, 3, lifting and moving to the next point. Hooking under the bone there in the dip, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Last sequence here, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Now I can feel a bit of tightness in my jaw, and I know that I clench my jaw, and obviously that's connected to all of that as well. Something else, I'm now feeling like my chin is in need of some attention. And if I was working on you, I would do some brushing movements like so, just to end the treatment on the face. It doesn't have the same effect. So what I'm going to show you is another technique that we use in Suboku massage and also in other facials, which is to pinch and hold chin, pinch and hold, and what you're moving across the jawbone there, and that just helps to release the tightness and to drain. So pinch and move across. Don't pinch too hard. What you're doing again is you're just holding the muscle between your thumb and your forefinger. And instead of doing it front ways where you're pinching it like so, use the side of both fingers, and that way it just ensures that you're gripping the muscle rather than just pinching yourself. And move across all the way to where the ear joins onto your face there. Now, the ear is a symbol of wisdom. And actually there is a whole reflexology treatment that works on the ear, auricular reflexology. And did you know that the spine of your ear relates to your spine apparently? Now I am a reflexologist, but I don't practice auricular reflexology, but I do know that piece of information. Now, I'm tying my hair back so that you can see on the other camera angle what we're going to do. The finishing touches of this entire sequence is to give our ears a little bit of attention as well, our unsung heroes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do circular motions around the ears like so, and you're going to grip the bottom of the ear or the top of the ear. You can start whichever way is more comfortable to you. I'm going to start here because we've just finished along the jaw. I'm going to start at the lobes, and what I'm going to do is just work those lobes in between my finger and my thumb, just give them a nice firm twiddle, just so that they remember that, you know, they're there. And then in a circular motion, move up the ear like so. I can't do it in an angle that you can see. There we go, up the ear like so. So what we're doing is we're starting down here, and then we're moving up and around the ear like so, and do it on both sides at the same time. Again, it just helps to have a more balanced, even experience. If coordination proves tricky when you're doing this, then of course do one at a time. What we're doing is we're making sure to go right to the join over here as well, and you're just moving round in a circular motion just as we're coming to the end, again all the way around. And then you might want to finish by grounding yourself, and that is just taking your thumbs at the back of the ear, fingers on the front, and just pulling your earlobes just down towards the ground. It's a Chinese technique for longevity. You just pull your earlobes slightly down to the ground. It's a lovely, soothing, grounding experience. And then we're going to just take in a few deep breaths, just to feel the breath coming into your shoulders, coming down into your neck, down all the way to the tips of your toes. And we'll do that 3 times just to finish off our treatment. So take a deep breath with me. Hold and release. Deep breath in, hold and release. And last time, deep breath in, hold and release. And there you have it. That is the end of that whole sequence. I would love to know if you have any thoughts, feedbacks, questions. And Katie's going to be joining us right now. Hi, Katie.
Hi Ronit, thank you so much. I have literally had to go and tie my hair back because I look like a bit of a crazy person. My ears feel great. I love that. I love, I've done an acupuncture course with the ears, and it's absolutely brilliant. And we spend a lot of time just massaging our ears, and it feels really nice. And all those bits into the head and pulling the hair, it was absolutely incredible.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Were there any questions or any comments along the way, or should I jump on laughter and answer those later on?
You could definitely have a look. We're multitasking as we're doing this at the moment, so I was monitoring the feed. So if you want to go on and have a look at your feed, there were just some nice comments saying thank you very much and lots of likes for this. I think everyone was probably occupied doing lots of bits.
Good, that's what we wanted, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we're really happy. Thank you so much, Ronit.
I just want to say to everybody watching, you're in for a serious treat. These spiky balls are my new favorite thing, and the session with Katie now is superb because we've done it a few times, and you're really in for a treat there. I really think you should be stocking these balls, Katie, because you could be it, let me tell you. Anyway, I'm going to just mute myself now because I'm going to also try and get involved in what you're doing. I might hide my 2 screens, but I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Ronit. So welcome to this next session, which is about a slightly more advanced for some of you technique for helping you release tension from your head and your neck. From this video angle, you can see I look a little bit crammed next to the door, but this is going to come in useful. So what are we talking about? A bit more of a close-up view. These are spiky massage balls, different colours, different sizes. Loads of people do them in different brands. You can use tennis balls, golf balls and squash balls. You can, but they're just a little bit harder. One of the things is when I went and looked for the stock that I want, I want them to have a little bit of give. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see how I can actually squeeze that a bit? It depends on your sensitivity. So if you're quite petite, you don't have a lot of muscle, then you want something with a little bit more give. Obviously, if things are a little bit firmer or a little bit broader, something that doesn't have as much give, you may feel quite comfortable. I will put the link on Boring with Physio Facebook page, and if you're watching this on YouTube, just check into the comment section and you will have the link just from the company that I use. I haven't tried out any others, so I can't personally recommend anything that I've not tried. So what are we going to do? This is an extension from what the Indian head massage section that we've also recorded. And we're going to use the massage balls to apply a little bit more pressure using body weight. That is the important thing. As always, please read the medical disclaimer, check that you feel fit, well and healthy, that you can do this. If there are any reasons that you're not sure, please stop. Feel free to get in contact with me at Boreham with Physio, and I can advise you if this is something that you need to be doing, or if you're in lots of pain, it may be that you actually need to have a virtual appointment. So I'm going to get out my little muscle man that's kind of hiding over my shoulder. This is actually, if you see all the lines, this is an acupuncture kind of little muscle man, and I absolutely love him because it's absolutely brilliant. But if I bring him close to the camera, I'm not sure a muscle man has been on camera before, so hi. This side is just the acupuncture points, but what I want to do is just use this a little bit so that you get an idea of the anatomy. There are more muscles over here. This is just kind of the shoulder blade. This area is the nape of your neck. So if I turn side on, it's wrong hand. This is the nape of your neck. This is the top part of the shoulder. Okay. And when we use these spiky balls, what we're looking at doing is sticking to the muscular areas. And we really don't want to be going directly on the skeleton itself, which is the bony bits of your spine, which are your vertebrae. I'm going to pop things down now. So I've got two different sizes. Got little ones and bigger ones. If you're gonna go and buy anything, I'd possibly, if you had to just buy one thing, I'd suggest getting the slightly bigger ones. But there are techniques where we can use two of them and we can use one of them. I'm going to show you the first technique where we use one of them. Really important to know, I have used these for years. I know how to position them in a really easy way so I can get that release really quickly, and it feels amazing. Please don't get frustrated if it takes you a bit of time just to learn the techniques with your body. The only other thing that I'm going to do is just keep my head to the side. So the first thing with this in standing, I'm going to mostly focus on the upper kind of shoulder area, the upper neck. It can be used in other parts of the body, but that's not the purpose of this teach. So what do? I take this, and you should be able to see. I'm going to pop it. You do need to be a little bit flexible, or you have to get someone else to help you. And you just pop it, kind of just behind your shoulders. If I tip to the side, you can see it's kind of resting there. Now, if I stand straight up, I'm not so posh, I'm afraid, to have plenty of camera angles. So just have a look at my body against the wall so you can see I'm relatively straight. Unfortunately, using this being completely straight, you don't get enough body weight onto the pressure of the ball, and it tends to kind of move around and then kind of pop out, which is very frustrating. So if you just have a look at my angle, you kind of get the impression that I'm leaning back. What I'm doing is I'm walking my feet, so wear trainers, please wear trainers, walking my feet away from the wall or the door or the surface. Can you see it? Kind of looks like I'm kind of leaning back, I'm reclining. And the pressure on the ball changes. So as soon as I'm upright, not much pressure. As soon as I step forwards away from the surface, there's more pressure. And this is one of the first ways that you can control the amount of pressure that you have through that massage. The next thing I can do is I can be straight ahead, but I tend to find slightly turning towards the side that I've got the massage ball really increases the pressure quite a lot. So again, we'll go through that. My feet are further away. I can stay straight or just watch my body. I can just gently turn my chest and my body to the side. So the first thing that I can do is just hang here. I can just rest here. I can just stay here. It's a bit of a static massage. Just breathing in, breathing out. When we're doing this form of release, what you're looking for is a relaxation in the muscle if you're holding it gently. If you land on a spot and you suddenly feel like what I call a starburst of kind of sensitivity going away from that area, that is more than likely what we call a trigger point. Now, the thing about a trigger point is as you stay on it with gentle pressure, that starburst that has come out should gently soften and release back down. If you're staying at a point and you've got this sensitivity spreading away, and it can go up into your head and your ear and down your back, and it stays and builds up, please stop. The other reason to stop would be obviously really severe pain, any pins and needles, any numbness. So I've been static in this position. How long? 10, 20 seconds. I tend to do it on top of clothes just because you get this really weird prickle mark on your body. And then what I may do is I may just move it to a slightly different spot. Having an explore as you get to know your body about what areas feel tight. And then again, I may just statically lean, applying some pressure. At this point, it feels really nice. I have to remember that I'm doing this on live and I need to move on. And again, I'll just show you once more. I can again just move it into a slightly different position. I'm going to come a little bit higher now. So you can see it peaking over the top. And again, I'm just going to put a bit of pressure. The second technique you can do is more dynamic. That involves movement. There is a trick to this. So find that point again. I'm just going to maybe wiggle around a little bit to get it in the right spot for me. How do you know if it's the right spot for you? It's an area that generally feels tight. And most people, when they try this, they're like, they look at me and they feel a little bit guilty. And they're like, oh my God, it hurts, but it feels really good. And pain is very complex, but what they're feeling is that the muscle is releasing, it's getting oxygen, it's getting blood supply. So with movement, I'm just going to hold myself here, maybe do my little hand to the side, and I'm going to move very gently. So again, look at my body. I'm doing a very small circular movement. Really small circular movement. Now, the reason it's small is because the more I move, I'll show you what happens. If I'm going like this, can you see how the ball is kind of, it's just poking up and it tends to pop out and it's very frustrating. So again, just pop it back. I tend to lean on it and just very small. You could even just move your shoulder blade if you want. Just rolling the shoulder. Please, if you're hearing kind of little clicks and cracks, what we call crevices, there really is nothing to worry about. We all do it. There's loads of research on it, and if there was something to worry about our system clicking and cracking, we would all be very aware of it. And all health practitioners are generally okay with all the clicks and cracks happening in our neck. It's really normal. Okay. So that is the technique for standing. So leaning against the surface, using one of the prickle balls, applying static pressure, or dynamic when you're moving. It's really lovely, just not being directly on the spine. Occasionally, we've talked about this before, occasionally why did someone use the smaller, I have clients who buy both, to be honest, because they just offer slightly different things. The only difference for this could be that it's because it's smaller, some people find that it gets a little bit deeper. As I said, you could just buy one, and I have loads of office workers pop this in their bags once they've had some treatment for their neck and it's feeling good. This is one of the ways that they help maintain their posture alongside some stretches. So we're going to lay down onto the mat. If you're joining along at home, make sure that you grab 2 of the spike balls. So use a red one. Get yourself quite a couple. Get yourself a couple of cushions, and I'll show you why, because we don't want to hurt the neck as we do this. I'm going to just double my hair. Really important, ladies. Just get your hair out of the way, and gentlemen as well, if you've got longer hair, get that top knot rocking. So the camera's going to change. So just get yourself set up. Okay, let's make sure that this is another good angle. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm going to use these ones. And this is the funny technique where I talk to you kind of lying down on my side, things that you never thought you would do as a physio. Do a video lying down talking on your side. So I'm going to just show you first of all why these head blocks are really important. If I'm lying flat on my back without these, actually my head is relatively supported. Don't have to worry about straightening my neck. Now, when I pop these underneath my back, I'll just do it quickly to show you how to use the blocks, or you can use a pillow and then we'll come on to a proper teach. So if I'm here and here, can you see how my head is now floating up? That's not very safe, that's not very secure. So you want nice head blocks, pillows, more than you would normally use when you're lying. So I'm going to get myself set up. If you are doing this with someone at home, then they can help you position it. If not, again, it just takes a little bit of time, but you are going to find a way that these are comfortable. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for the same squishy bits, kind of around the top of my shoulders. I'm going to pop the other side in first. I'm just going to turn to the side. I'm going to pop that there, and then I'm going to pop that, and you'll just see the other one poking through. I'm going to adjust my head cap. Oh, that feels very nice. Now I'm going to lie for a second, and I'm going to think, do they feel similar? I need to adjust this one on this side, so I'm just going to reach behind, gently pull up, and I'm going to reach there. Now, because you've got all of your body weight, some people do find this too intense, and if they find it too intense, then I would definitely suggest that you're doing the exercises in standing. So I'm just going to adjust this one small. If you're lying here, level 1 is just lying here, having static pressure, again, maybe 20 seconds in one spot, and then just reaching in, having a little adjustment, and doing 20 seconds in another spot. Maybe being mindful, does one area feel a little bit sore compared to the other? Does one thing feel a bit tight? No pins and needles, no numbness. If you're on that trigger point, which feels like a starburst, then it should fade back down. Now, if you're going, well, actually, that feels quite nice, but I think I could put a little bit more pressure. Just going to adjust it again. Then the way to use more pressure is actually to use your arms. So my arms can float up. You probably will use the tips of my fingers, and I can go forwards and back. Forwards and back. Just thinking about my breath work and my breathing. And again, I'd maybe do this 5 to 10 times and then adjust the position. The next level up, or a slightly different version, I call it sailor arms. Just kind of going forwards and back, maybe doing a little circle, and a little circle the other way. Okay. After that, if you felt, you know what, that is quite, I'm going to wiggle my body just to move them a bit, just because I said you need to be moving them every kind of 20 seconds. I'm going to come up into a shoulder bridge. This is very intense, so please do this gently. I know some of my clients absolutely love doing this. I know some of them just, I wouldn't even suggest it. So yoga or Pilates shoulder bridge, just rolling up, coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. Now level 2 above this is your arms go back. Very, very intense. Please be very careful and very aware. Come back down. If you've got the strength, you can stay there. Please be aware of shoulder bridges. If it's not something that you can do because of other spine problems, please back off. This is if you're kind of feeling fit and well. So that's the very simple teach for this part of my neck. I'm going to lose my hair. Now, the higher level that we can do is actually releasing off, can you see me here, into what I call the suboccipital area, that hairline. Now, instead of using the pads, I'm going to use these balls, okay? So any dizziness, any nausea, any unpleasant feelings, please do not try this. You kind of squish them together. Again, you need to have pretty decent core strength just to be able to get into this position. I pop them together, and they become my little pillow. And then resting in that hollow, that small of my neck, up against that kind of suboccipital line, which is where the your hairline is effectively, where your head meets your neck. And all I'm going to do is just rest in this position. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, because of our natural hollow and the way they are, they're not directly pressing on the vertebra of your spine. Yes, they are pressing on a bony junction, which is where the head and the neck is, but that's where lots of muscles are. And in this instance, as long as it feels comfortable, then that can be okay. As I said, any dizziness, any unpleasant feelings, please do not do this. And you can just rest there, breathing in and out. You could gently nod up and down. You could gently rock your head side to side. That's again more intense. And for this, you can hold it a little bit longer. You can hold it up to a minute, but starting off nice and slowly. So I'm just going to come onto my side again. I'm going to remove these. Now, once you've done this, it's really important to not rush up from this position. So I'm going to come back up into standing. And hopefully you can do the same, just taking a moment, just making sure you don't feel dizzy. Breathing in and out. I think hair is a hair is a complete mess now. Let's just take it down for a second. Hopefully the lighting's okay. So very important, if you've never used massage balls or the spiky massage balls before, do everything gently. A lot of people create injuries when they come out all guns blazing. Was it bull in the china shop? Is that the expression? I think it is. So start really gently, really slowly. There should be a feeling of release as you do it. No unpleasant, unwanted sensations. If you have a pre-existing condition going on with your neck or your back or any other medical reason that you think that you shouldn't be doing this, feel free to check in with myself or check in with your local physio or someone else who may be giving you some treatment. It's been lovely for you to join me today, and Ronit, and I hope you have found these two techniques really, really, really helpful and really beneficial. And coming up, we have some more in the health and well-being, and that is going to include mindfulness. Ronit's going to be joining us again for strategies and techniques to help with dealing with any of those other overwhelming feelings that can happen during this lockdown and even outside of lockdown. I'm going to be carrying on with some practical sessions, and that's going to include a really great teach on balance. We're going to be doing some more stretching and intro to Pilates. The other thing I'm doing on Sunday is going to be a session for anyone who is pregnant, talking about back care and pregnancy, so feel free to share this. All videos are uploaded onto Facebook at Boreham Wood Physio, and feel free to like and comment and share. And again, on my YouTube page, Katie Neal Physio and Pilates. I'm offering free virtual consultations at the moment for anyone who has a very quick question, but otherwise it's just a regular virtual physio consultations going ahead. At this time, it's really important to look after yourself, to feel fit, well, and healthy, and to make sure if you're looking out for someone else that you're looking after them and looking after yourself. I'm just going to hand over to Ronit for a second, see if she's got anything else to add. No, she doesn't, she's just signaling to me. So that's been really lovely. Thank you so much for joining in that session. It's been great. So I'm Katie Neal from Boreham Wood Physio, helping you look after yourself at this time. Bye for now.